punks, your freaks, your geeks, your Greeks, your party animals, your gangsters, your commuters, your residents, your students, your alums, your lawyers, your truckers, your calls, your tweets. And we'll give you rock, classic, indie, punk, alternative, easy, hard, raps, rhymes, mixes, and drops. We'll give you kick-ass music because we're WPSC 88.7 FM, Brave New Radio. Sound good?
WPSC FM 88.7, Wayne, New Jersey.
Part of the William Patterson Broadcast Network. Brave New Radio.
The views and opinions expressed on this show are solely those of the host and guest and are not necessarily supported by WPSC 88.7 FM, station management, or the station owner, William Patterson University. Anyone wanting to offer differing opinions may do so by calling the show at 973-720-2738. Abusive callers will be rejected. Now here's your program on WP 88.7 FM, Brave New Radio.
Good morning. Good morning to you, and a wonderful morning it is. As when I walked out the house this morning, the weather was extremely comfortable. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the weather momentarily, but if you can hear my voice, you're listening to another edition of The Reading Circle with your host, Marc Medley. We come to you live each Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m., where we interview authors as well as folks who do other things. We just bring and expose different things to you on Saturday morning, so we ask that you do tune in. The majority of the time I'm interviewing authors who have written a book, but every now and again we launch out, we venture out and speak to folks who do some other things that may not be about a book, but they are of interest as well, to show a little bit of our diversity. So this is Marc Medley. We're going to go through our routine that we always go through, and that is I'm going to share the weather with you. I'm going to read from 2 books, introduce our guests, share some information with you, and our interview will be underway. So without further ado, we're going to do that. I told you when I walked out the house this morning, it is my type of weather. It is 72.7 degrees currently right now. We can expect today to be partly cloudy, a high of 87 with a low of 63. And then tomorrow, Sunday, a mix of clouds and sun in the morning, followed by cloudy skies during the afternoon, high of 85, low of 64. Expect Sunday night to be cloudy with showers. And then on Monday, 81 as a high, 66 as a low, showers early, then scattered with thunderstorms developing later in the day. Monday night expected to be variable cloudy with varied thunderstorms, scattered thunderstorms, shall I say. And then on Tuesday, high of 86, low of 64, cloudy early, scattered thunderstorms developing later in the day, high of 86. Tuesday night, scattered thunderstorms in the evening, partly cloudy skies overnight, low again of 64. And then Wednesday, high of 84, low of 63, expected to be partly cloudy. And then on Wednesday night, partly cloudy as well. Well, that is the weather brought to you right here from the WP 88.7 FM Weather Center. Summertime is my time. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna even try to pretend like the rest of the year is my favorite time, because summer is it for me. I love spring, I love summer, I can even deal with fall. I think of the least of the 4 seasons would be winter, but when I can walk out the house with 72 degrees and it's comfortable like this, I am in my absolute glory. We are going to read from our 2 books that we always read from. That is What Can Happen When We Pray and Until Today. Out of the book What Can Happen When We Pray, it says Internal Truth. That's for today, June the 13th. You desire truth in the inward being. Therefore teach me wisdom in my secret heart. I confess that my self-destructive behaviors, unkind words, false witness, and irresponsible use of the world's finite resources are not only transgressions against my fellow humans, but also a sin against you. When I make choices that compromise the truth, have mercy on me. Please forgive my frailties and failures. Amen. Today's reflection. One expects that the proponents of education and holders of knowledge possess a level of understanding that is founded on truth. Scholars, professors, teachers, pastors, and activists should speak beyond conjecture and speculation. However, it is possible to memorize facts, but not allow truth to impact our behavior and influence our choices. We can know truth and not live it. God invites us to experience truth on the inside, to be impacted and guided by a profound and deep personal encounter with the truth, who is Jesus. Such a relationship encourages a life of faith rooted in truth. That's for today, June the 13th, from the book What Can Happen When We Pray. From Iyanla Vanzant's book Until Today for June 13th, she says, I am now willing to forgive myself for the judgments I have held about and against my Father. The universe does not edit your vocabulary. When you use a word, it ascribes the universal concept to the word. For example, let us examine the word Father. In the spiritual context, the word Father means mind, provider, protector. God, the one universal divine mind. Consequently, when you use the word Father, the universe does not search out your meaning. You say Father, the universe hears God, mind, provider, protector. Forgive your father. Forgive him not because you want to get right or be right with God. Forgive him so that you can be right with yourself. Forgive your father whether or not he said all the right things. Forgive him whether or not he gave you the right amount of time and energy. Forgive him whether or not he was there to teach you what you needed to know about life. Forgive your father because you are confusing the universe. The judgments you hold against your father may be construed as judgments you are holding against the Father. Forgive your father because holding judgments about him and against him are construed as judgments about divine mind. These are the judgments that cause the confusion, anger, and shame you experience or harbor in your own mind. Forgive your father because until you do, the love you are seeking will continue to elude you. If you cannot forgive him, how can you ever forgive yourself for the things you have told yourself about you? Until today, you may not have realized that what you think, feel, and judge about your own father is construed by the universal intelligence as judgments about the one true Father. Just for today, open your heart to the Father. Ask him to give you the courage and compassion to forgive yourself for judging your father. Today I am devoted to opening my heart to forgive myself for the judgments I have held about my father. That's from the book Until Today for June the 13th. I love reading from these two books as we kick off the show because it just sets off a positive vibe in the studio. I've read from those two books for years. They are daily devotionals. There are no years associated with them. They're only dates. So whatever day it is on that particular Saturday, that's the day we read from. And usually, in many cases, what we read lines up with what the interview about. Not always, but in many cases. So as I shared with you, I was going to let you know who our guest is for the morning. She called in and has been waiting in the wings, as they say. And it is none other than Donna Lotts, Virginia-based independent beauty and wellness consultant. Donna Lotts is passionate, now that's a key word there, passionate about sharing the Airborne experience. It is all about bringing beauty into lives by empowering women to look and feel younger, sexier, and more beautiful with botanical products that are as good for your skin as they are for your appearance. First she changes skin, then she changes lives. All right. Donna became a consultant because she fell in love with the brand and incredible products. The amazing surprise she found was a wonderful and diverse group of independent consultants who are committed, talented, hard-working people. a powerful community able to form lifelong friendships and grow immensely as a person and leader in their own right. Donna has 28 years of customer service experience. She began her career one summer as a secretary at the young age of 4 under a tent in the corner of her yard where her mother would bring her snacks along with a drink. Donna was too busy answering the phone and taking notes to take a lunch break in those days. Having graduated college with an administrative assistant degree, she was on her way to put her years of practice to work. Post-corporate world, Donna decided to venture into entrepreneurship, a dream come true. She says, I feel so lucky to be an entrepreneur, beauty and wellness consultant. When I work with individuals, enabling them to change their appearance and lives, I see the backstage view of their lives. The connection made lasts a lifetime and beyond. Donna Lotts, welcome to the Reading Circle with Marc Medley.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Good. I'm glad to have you because I have been working with many of the guests with Deb Bailey that she has shared with me, and many of our interviews have dealt with relationships. So this one, I saw that line in there about your ability to help change lives, and I just have a feeling this one is going to go along the lines of relationships as well. So, okay, let's see how we can do this in terms of where did this all get started. I got a kick out of your being a secretary at 4.
Yes, I remember that vividly, like it was yesterday.
So,
I would, I guess shorthand was popular back then, and I would practice my shorthand and note-taking and just really felt like I was in an office, and that's what I loved for many years. I live in a very remote area, though, and my commute was over 4 mountains, an hour each way, and I just really, after so many years of that, kind of got burned out on that and was in a dead-end job, no advancement opportunities, and one day I just realized, I thought I realized how burned out I was, but not until I quit that and actually started staying at home and seeking entrepreneurial opportunities, then I realized how really stressed I was, how it had affected me. But I still, I can still do my secretarial duties, as they say, or office duties with what I do. But what I'm really passionate about is helping other women, as you mentioned, to look and feel younger, healthier, and sexier by living, a healthier life. We lost my dad a couple of years ago to cancer, and this has become even more close to my heart because of that. There are just so many things, so many chemicals and impurities in our foods and the skincare products that we use that, it's just amazing that companies can not be regulated, I guess, any more than what they are. The pharmaceutical companies and the food industry, they allow cosmetic companies to get away with using all types of chemical ingredients that are not always used in other cases, and they're actually banned in some other countries.
Absolutely. And we're going to share some information with the listening audience, but you just touched on 2 industries that I've talked about on this show before, and I'll go back down that road again because you are 1,000,000% correct. Did you say a 4-hour commute?
2 hours.
Oh, it was 2 hours each way?
It was an hour over 4 mountains and an hour back home, and I was usually going about 11 hours out of the day.
Oh, yeah. I remember my days commuting, and I know a couple of weeks ago I actually had to travel to a part in New York that was 4 hours from where I am, and I had to travel through the state of Pennsylvania, and it was very mountainous the entire time, and then the trip back, it was pitch black, could not see my hand in front of me. And so I can only imagine where you are in Virginia. It has to be somewhat similar. So when you said that, 4 hours, like 2 hours each way, wow. I can understand that in terms of getting stressed out as well. So I'm going to share this information with the audience. Audience, you know what to do. Get on all your social media sites. Let someone know that Donna Lotts is on the air. And before you know it, before the hour is up, you may learn some beauty tips and secrets that will help you look younger. And that seems to be an obsession with folks these days. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So don't you dare move unless you're going on your social media sites or turning up your speakers. We on WP 88.7 FM locally, and we go around the world on gobrave.org.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't seen your lap in months. And even more stuff. But still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I started going cold turkey. Well, at least when I'm in the car.
I know I shouldn't do it, but it's so hard to stop. That's why I hide it from myself, so I won't be tempted.
I used to do it all the time. I stopped by locking it in my glove compartment.
My friend used to do it way too much. Now I turn it off when we're in the car.
My solution is simple. I just don't do it.
There are lots of ways to stop yourself and others from texting and driving. How will you stop? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Reading Circle with Marc Medley on Brave New Radio.
Welcome back to the Reading Circle with your host, Marc Medley. As I said, we come to you live each Saturday morning. My guest this morning is beauty and wellness advisor and advocate and consultant, and whatever descriptor you want to use for that in terms of helping you look and feel better. She's on the air with me this morning, and that is Donna Lotts, calling all the way out of Virginia. That is my father's home state, and it is a large state because where Donna is about 2 or 3 hours away from where he was born. That's within the same state. So we were talking about what she does in terms of being a beauty consultant, a beauty advisor. And right before we shared that information with you, she was talking about the chemicals. And I said she brought up 2 industries that we've talked about on this show that I learned so much about in reading books about them that would surprise you. And those 2 books, one is called Sugar, or shall I say Salt, Sugar, Fat. And that is by Michael Moss, How the Food Giants Hooked Us. The other is Our Daily Meds by Melody Peterson, and that's about the pharmaceutical industry. Melody's been on the show. I've been trying to get in contact with Michael to join us, and he has not yet done so. But those 2 books are eye-opening in terms of 2 industries that you would think that are around to keep you alive, that in reality are killing us, and it's all for profit. So Donna, let's talk a little bit about those chemicals you referenced in terms of the food and pharmaceutical industry, in terms of healthcare and beauty products. Donna?
Well, chemicals, like suntan lotions, for instance. I've had people ask me, are they good or bad for your skin? And really, suntan lotions are not good for your skin with the SPF in them. A lot of people think that the higher SPF, the number of the SPF, that you can stay out in the sun longer, which is not true. You can actually burn more because those are chemicals that are in your suntan lotion that allow you to have the SPF numbers. Also, you want to use caution when you're in the sun because of the UV radiation, which is linked to the vast majority of skin cancers, as well as premature aging. It definitely ages your skin and can cause eye damage. So these are pretty nasty little chemicals.
So there are different products that you use between summer and winter, or you heard me talking about the seasons earlier, that summer is my favorite time. But are there different products that you would use based on the season?
Yes, And I'm like you. I love the spring and I love the summer. I love being able to walk out of the house with a pair of shorts and sandals and not have to put on the coats and the gloves and the boots and all that.
I said those same words this morning because I'm actually sitting here in the studio in a pair of shorts. So I'm glad it's not TV. But I feel the exact same way.
Well, our skin is our largest organ, and it covers and protects everything on our body. So how you treat it is incredibly important to your health. You can slather on products that are full of toxic chemicals. That's not the way to go. Just education is really important here. Anyway, in summer you want to, instead of using the heavy makeups, just use a tinted moisturizer. It's light, and it provides your necessary hydration for your skin and has a touch of color to it. You want to put lighter colors on in your lipsticks and eyeshadows and blushes, and you may be able even really to forgo some makeup if your complexion is good. And I think what I enjoy the most is using liquid makeup that you can brush on and add a touch of blush, eyeliner, eyeshadow, lip gloss. The natural look is definitely in. It's the least, the better.
Now, when I was reading the bio, you said not only do we change like your looks and kind of like your beauty, but we also change lives. Let's talk a little bit about when we say we change lives. I have an idea of what you mean by that, but I want to hear from you, and then we'll see if they line up. When you say you change lives, how does that go about doing that whenever you start talking about wellness and beauty?
Well, it gives you more confidence, for one thing. If your skin looks good, if you look good and feel good, it gives you more confidence in social situations or just in everyday life. And another way that I change lives is by helping women break out of their shell and look outside the box, think outside the box, and venture out into their own business.
All right, so you even took it a step further than I was thinking, because I was thinking along the lines of self-esteem in particular, because we're in a society, and I don't know, when you travel around other countries, if they are, and maybe they are, particularly when you get to somewhere like a Paris or Switzerland or something like that, they might be. But we seem to be here in this country obsessed with how we look. I mean, we're obsessed with not looking old, or shall I say anti-aging or not aging, or we want to be 90 and act like we're 20. And I mean, it's like, that's kind of like us here in the U.S. And products like yours help that process, or at least I would think in the mind, if nothing else, would do that. And from a self-esteem standpoint, like you were saying a couple minutes ago, if you're someone that is suffering from either blotchy skin or some type of skin, or in your mind you don't feel it comes up to the standard of the magazine covers and all that, it may overshadow everything that you do. And you said something about a shell, and for some people that would drive them into a shell. So what you're saying is, once I begin working with you, you begin using the products, or you begin consulting with someone like you, who is a wellness advocate, other parts of the life begin to change along with the external.
Yes, because it gives you, as you say, more self-esteem, more confidence. You feel better about yourself. You feel empowered, in a sense, to be able to go out, to step outside of your shell and do other things that you're not used to doing. And that was me, for sure. That was me.
The plot thickens. So you're not just talking about what you think. You're talking about what you know and have experienced yourself.
Yes.
That makes a whole lot of sense, especially in the line of work that you're doing. You're, for the most part, you're representing a product. And the products that you're representing, what you're saying is, I'm not just telling you about the product I use myself. Now, that, to me, that gives you a lot of credibility.
And I think one thing we need to look at, too, is organic, certified organic products, because it's so important to know what we're putting in our body, on our body. These illnesses that are out there today, the cancers and everything, they can stem from the air we breathe to what we eat each day to what we put on our skin. And you can tell a difference when you use an organic product, whether you eat organic food, you can tell a huge difference. You have more energy, you look and feel more vibrant, you can just tell a huge difference.
Now, I'm glad you brought that word up, and I need you to, since you're in the business and you know it probably better than I do, because I see the word all the time. I see it stamped on products. I know if you go to certain stores like a Whole Foods or this, that, and the other, most of their foods in there supposedly is organic. What does that mean whenever you say organic?
It means that it's grown without any pesticides. It doesn't have any genetically modified ingredients in it. So everything is grown without any fertilizers or, any kind of sprays, like anything like that put on them. It's just so much more healthy for us. You can tell a difference in the taste of the food, even the way it looks.
Now, with everything, and I always find that interesting because all those products that are being grown or whatever, they're still in the air. They're still in the earth that is surrounded by all these things. How does someone who's growing that, and maybe you may not notice, I don't know, how does someone go about keeping their products from being exposed to pesticides and everything else that all the other products are exposed to?
Basically just, growing it on small farms and just taking care of it, watching them to make sure that it is not sprayed. I don't know any particulars, especially on the growing process myself, because I'm not a farmer.
Right, I understand, because I'm saying with me, because like I said, when I see that all the time, from just an ignorant consumer perspective, you just kind of wonder, okay, when they say organic, is this just a stamp to make it seem like that and to get my money, because usually the organic products cost a little bit more, or is it truly these products are set aside where they're just not touched? They come out of the earth the way they ought to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I was asking the question in terms of when we say organic, because I try as much as possible, because I've always kind of leaned toward like herb teas and all, trying to think whenever the other term for holistic, that's what I'm looking for. I always kind of lean toward the holistic part, particularly with what I know about the pharmaceutical industry. So yeah. I try to do the same thing with the foods and everything for what I know about the food industry. So I really do make an effort, but sometimes it gets very hard because to get every product that's organic. So you kind of like, for me, I kind of mix and choose.
It is hard. It's hard to find organic. I've noticed, though, in some of the stores, I was in a Martin store yesterday, and I've noticed a lot more of the products are certified organic, and certified organic is a very rigorous process that they have to go through to get that certification. So that definitely means that it's a good product, and sometimes they're organic, but they're not certified. So definitely, if it has a certification on it, that means
so that's even a different level, even within organic. So you have organic and you have certified organic. All right. If you've just joined us, this is the Reading Circle with Marc Medley. My guest this morning is Donna Lotts, and she is a beauty and wellness advocate. And Donna, I always tell folks, and I've said it on the air many times, my goal is to be 100 and healthy. I didn't say 100 and struggling, 100 and scuffling, 100 and drooling, 100 in a wheelchair, but 100 and healthy. So this topic interests me, and I know it generally is for women in terms of, and when we come back, matter of fact, maybe I'm making that generality, and it's not just for women. So when we come back, when we resume after I share this information, we'll talk a little bit about that. If you've just joined us, again, my guest is Donna Lotts, wellness and beauty advocate. Let someone know that we're on the air. Tell them, text somebody, tweet somebody, do what you need to do. Tell them to tune in to gobrave.org right now. Tell them they can still do whatever they want to do on their computer. They just need to open up a tab, go to gobrave.org, and turn on their speakers. And they can listen and type and whatever they want to do all at the same time.
This year, firefighters like Fire Chief James Hall will battle wildfires around the country in hopes of containing them. But firefighters can't do it alone.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile, or it can ignite and destroy your home and community.
Get fire adapted. Learn simple steps you can take now to reduce wildfire damage later at fireadapted.org. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council. Learn more at fireadapted.org.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children. troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Reading Circle with Marc Medley on Brave New Radio.
You are indeed listening to The Reading Circle with Marc Medley. We come to you live each Saturday morning at 6 o'clock a.m. on WP 88.7 FM, locally in the northern New Jersey area. And then we stream all around the world live on GoBrave.org. So someone in Australia, someone in China, someone in Japan, someone in London, someone in Paris, someone in Nigeria, anywhere around the world that has internet connectivity can tune in to the show, and I am glad about it. It is fun to be thought. Now, I have no idea if we have one listener or 1,000 listeners or 100,000 listeners. Don't know this time of morning, but it's just fun to think that you can be heard around the world if they're tuned in to GoBrave.org. My guest is Donna Lotts, and right before we share that information with you, I was toying with this notion of her products, or at least what she's doing, is mainly geared toward women. But do you service men as well, or do the same things apply for men?
The same things do apply for men. It applies for anybody, yes. And, of course, we have products for men as well, and also children.
Because I say that because I've had the opportunity every now and again. I might do a manicure and a pedicure. It's rare, but sometimes I get treated for my birthday or Father's Day or something along those lines, where the kids and my wife, they'll say, you know what, we're gonna treat you to a pedicure. And I go there, and it actually feels good. I mean, it really does. And the same thing with the manicure or what have you. Just like men, for the most part, don't think in terms of those lines. But then on the other hand, there are men who are really into looking good, if you will. I mean, some men are into it even more than some women. That, you know, making sure the hair, when hair is out of place, making sure they have the right lotions and everything on, and everything looks and feels just the way it should feel. So there's nothing wrong with that. We should be interested in our health and looking good. And Donna said it earlier in terms of education, because for me, sugar, salt, fat, and our daily meds were eye-opening. And now that I'm listening to Donna talk about not even just the food that we eat and the medicines that we take, but the beauty products that we use are also filled with chemicals. So it's no wonder that a lot of us are getting sick. You have a magazine. Go ahead.
That's very true. I was going to say, the one thing I think that got me the most when I started in this business was the learning what mineral oil really is. I thought it was something that was healthy for you because minerals, you know, that sounds good, mineral oil.
Right.
It's not. It's really, really a nasty product. It's the byproduct of petroleum distillation. So it's cheap. It's the leftover after everything's produced. It's easy to store. It's cheaper to store because it doesn't go bad, basically. I have a cracker here that's sitting in mineral oil that I've had in there for 2 years. And it's actually hardened, and a cracker in liquid of any kind should, you know, disintegrate. It should get salt.
Right.
Yeah, this one is not. It's hard. You can shake it in the jar. It doesn't come apart. It kind of clinks against the side of the jar. So just imagine what that does to your skin, and it's in almost every product, like a lotion, things like that, anything that we put on our body. It's in so many of them.
Now, listening audience, this is where the education and the information comes in, because about a year and a half ago now, I had my annual physical, and the A1C numbers, you know, when you do your blood work, it was a little bit high, and diabetes runs in my family. And so the doctor said, all right, look, I believe I can keep you off medication if you change your diet and you exercise more than you are now. So, okay, great. I think we can do that. But what that also did for me, because the other piece, in terms of the dieting piece, I had to cut down on my amount of sugar. Matter of fact, I had almost obliterated. I had to almost take it out of my diet altogether if that was possible. Where I'm going with this is it forced me to start reading the ingredient labels on products. And what Donna just said in terms of mineral oil is what I'm going to challenge you to do as you begin to purchase your various creams and lotions and everything. and start looking at how many of them actually have mineral oil listed in there. And I know for a fact many, if not most, of the products do. Because now that I have gotten so much in the habit of looking at the food product, I do the same now with everything that I buy. I'm looking at the content list. And for those of you who may or may not know, the closer, where your contents are listed, they're listed in the order of the amount that's in the product. So if it's the first thing listed, that means that's what you're getting the most of. So let's say, for example, you pick up a bottle of lotion and mineral oil is the first thing that's listed. That means that's the most thing that's in that product. And then as you go all the way to the end, that's the least. So as you read your product list and you go through the list, when you get to the last product, the last ingredient in there, that's what's in the product the least. The first one you read is what's in there the most. Now, if it happens to be mineral oil, like you just heard Donna say, that means you have a product full of something that one would think is good for you, but is not. And this is where this notion of companies and industries that you think are good for you, they're fooling us. Because in the end of the day, it's not about us as human beings. It's about the almighty dollar. It's about profit. And you just heard Donna say mineral oil is a byproduct. That means that's what's left over. That's what came after the real product they were trying to make. And it's cheap. Hence the margin for the profits. And that's where, Donna, to me, that's where we get. I sit there and I almost get incensed with industries that I think that are there to keep us alive that are actually there that's killing us. Talk to me a little bit about your magazine.
Well, I'm very proud of that. Very proud of my little magazine.
I went on my little soapbox there, and I was like, "Okay, let me bring it back in." Talk. What's the name? What's the name of the magazine, and what's it all about?
It's Healthy Living. It's a free magazine, and it's about the current issue now is how to get your skin ready for spring. I'm working on a summer edition right now. How stress affects your skin, how to keep healthy, beautiful nails, and some uses for tea tree oil, which is a very healthy oil for us. It's free, and it's a great little ebook with some fantastic information. And I'm also running a little contest for that. It's the first 100 people that sign up for that, I'll be hosting a giveaway of $100 in free organic skincare products, and they're very nice. Some of them are spa products, spa quality products. They all have a nice smell and feel, and I'm just really excited about it.
Well, I heard you mention now, because remember before I went on my little tirade, we were talking about mineral oil. But now I heard Donna mention tea tree oil. Now, again, I've experienced tea tree oil, and it is wonderful. This is back into that holistic side. Because that's the other piece of this. Just like there are products that are bad for us, there are alternatives that are indeed good for us. And tea tree oil is one of them. Matter of fact, tea tree oil has multiple purposes. Multiple purposes. There we go. Multiple uses. How many of these, like when you start talking organic, because really, when you start thinking a lot of these things, these are the things like, say, for going back in like with the Indians, with folks that really did before, what I'm trying to say is before all the chemicals and the factories and the profit margins and all that, this is how people lived. They lived off of the earth. They lived off of the land. And a lot of times when we hear about the products that they lived on, people scoff at them. But in many cases, I've found with the holistic area, like in terms of herbal teas, in terms of herbal remedies, in terms of things such as tea tree oil, those products actually do work. Yes, they do. And I'm getting more into the essential oils. I'll be putting some more things on my website about those. And, and what you said is very true. The Indians, our forefathers used this type of the oils and the natural foods. They didn't have all the health issues that we have today. And the reason we got away from that is because, like you say, all the factories sprung up, and it's all about the almighty dollar. We can pop a pill to take care of something now, which is a lot quicker, a lot easier. Right. But that causes side effects, as we all know, and causes more problems. So then you take another pill for the problem that's caused. And exactly it is all about the almighty dollar. That's what it all is. I laugh because I sit there and I think, I always tell folks, I don't watch a lot of television, and I had one point stopped watching the news altogether. And then recently I kind of started coming in at the end of the day, turning the news back on. But what I started noticing was, I guess the folks who put together and do the advertising space for the news must think everybody who watches it is elderly or sick. Because every ad throughout the hour has something to do with an ailment or something to do with aging, like insurance or this, that, and the other. And I laugh because when you listen, and they always do the side effects of the medication, they always have the fast voice for that. But the medication that you're taking has more side effects than, you know what, I'd rather take my chances with the illness that I have than to deal with the side effects that comes with the medication.
Exactly.
I mean,
if you read the side effects, it really scares you.
It really, I mean, when you're talking about taking an asthma medicine that may stop you from breathing, I said, well, wait a minute, isn't that the whole point of taking asthma medicine, so that you can breathe? And a side effect is it may cause you to stop breathing. I like what you, but it is something I'm telling you. And the thing is, those two industries, they come to top of mind. And the beauty industry is just as big, and they feed off of each other, because that's what Donna was alluding to earlier. The food industry and perhaps the pharmaceutical industry as well, they feed into the beauty, because a lot of the products and the chemicals come from those two industries that are in the beauty products. Okay, I'm trying to see how because I don't have, as you know, a pat set of questions. I do have some questions that I'm working in that Deb sent me, but the conversation always kind of drives where it goes. Are there products or chemicals, and you don't have to name the company name itself, but which ones do you recommend that do the most damage? Which ones do we use the most? That is it lotion? Is it chapstick? Is it hair products? Is it nail polish? What is it, the thing that generally we tend to use the most that we think is doing us good that's really harming us?
Well, I would say all of those have bad products in them. They all have chemicals. I would say probably lotions, maybe lotions and makeup. Chapstick is another one as well, because we use that a lot, and it has something in it called carnauba wax. If you look on the label, I don't know whether I'm allowed to mention names or not, but beeswax is in a lot, which is fine, but something that doesn't have beeswax in it is even better if it has a natural oil, because it actually goes into the skin and hydrates. But that carnauba wax that I mentioned is something that is in our car wax. So you don't want to put car wax on your lips.
And see, when I say chapstick, I know that's a brand name. What I'm really talking about is lip balm. So I don't want to dilute their brand by saying chapstick, but I'm really talking about lip balm. So when you say beeswax, you said that is good or not good?
Well, it's fine. It's a natural ingredient, but then again, it kind of forms a barrier on top of the skin. So, like on your lips, if you can get something that has a natural oil in it or does not have carnauba wax, it works better because it actually penetrates the skin, goes in, hydrates. It doesn't just sit on top of it, and that's another thing with the petroleum. There's a barrier there between your skin and the product you're putting on, and it actually just sits on top of it. It doesn't go in, absorb into the skin and hydrate properly.
Wow, carnauba wax is the same thing in a car wax.
Yes, it's an ingredient in car wax.
Wow, and that's the same thing we're putting on our lips. Wow. See, this is back to the education again. In terms of, we talked about the magazine. Is that an online magazine, or is that an actual soft paper copy issue of, like, we say magazine, or is it an e-magazine?
It's an e-magazine. Everything's online. And
they would get that by going to your website?
Yes, the website, and that is Lotts of Beauty with Donna.com, and Lotts is actually my last name, so it's spelled Lotts.
That's correct. And when we get down to the last few minutes of the show, we're going to reiterate that multiple times to make sure folks visit the site. She said she has the raffle going on with the magazine, so we want you to take part in that. So not only do you have the magazine, it's my understanding either you have a book or a book is coming up, and it's a cookbook, a beauty cookbook. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I've got several recipes in there now. It's going to be like scrubs, natural scrubs, and just different makeup recipes, things you can do at home for yourself, foot soaks, different things like that. I'm excited about that because, again, it's going to be all organic and natural without your nasty products in them. The book I have out right now, the little e-magazine, the Healthy Living book, is it contains salads, dressing, sauces, smoothies, and I'll be doing another book as well just on smoothies because those are huge right now. And they're healthy. They don't have anything. I read an article the other day that a lot of the young people are coming up with some kind of drinks. They're like smoothies. I forget what the name was, but it's something that allows them to go to their computer and get started right away because they can carry that with them and drink them. Protein drink. It's some type of protein drinks, but they have a lot of the junk in them. So you really want to try a good smoothie because you can go a long time on a good protein enriched smoothie. It makes you feel so much better. You're energized, and yes, you can carry it to the computer with you if you need to get on there and start working right away. That should be finalized the end of July.
What are some of the ingredients of a protein enriched smoothie?
Well, I use chia seeds a lot in mine, and I also use almond milk. You can get a nice almond coconut or just plain almond milk. I think they even have cashew milk, something like that, because, I won't get into detail about the milks, but they can, they basically have everything homogenized and pasteurized, so there's nothing,
right.
There's not a whole lot of nutritional value left in the milk that we buy off the shelf.
Again, another fallacy, because, you're constantly bombarded with ads about drink milk, drink milk, drink milk, and doing my research, milk is not the best thing for the body.
No, and the 2%, I know we're always conscious of fat, but, the 2%, it can actually cause more illnesses, diabetes, and things like that, because you're putting something in your body that's not natural, and it's been altered. And
oh, wow. See, it really is hard to choose. It's really hard to select. You try to do the best that you can, but it is difficult. And I found that out over the last year and a half because I laughed when you said smoothie because I was in Walmart the other day. I was in the store, and they had like a smoothie mix packet. It was like a powdered mix, I guess, that you can add to your smoothie. And I forget the flavor. It was strawberry, but it was something. But I picked it up, and again, I started reading the food label. I said, okay, let me see what this is all about. And I started reading it, and I started looking at the grams of sugar in there, and I said, that's counter to what the smoothie is supposed to be doing. The grams of sugars in it was like this crazy, like 24 or 32 grams. It was like some crazy sugar gram number that I said, if you add that to the smoothie, it takes away the whole purpose of you having it to begin with. But a lot of the products are like that, and that's my whole point. So when you start talking about, okay, protein enriched, I'm sure, that cookbook will be valuable. Because I know it would for me in terms of, because I'm always now looking for, okay, how can I get a really good taste without having the sugar and all that in it? And there are a lot of substitutes, because I found, the first product that I found that was a very good substitute for sugar was cinnamon. Mm-hmm. And that like in coffee or what have you, you could do a black coffee and just sprinkle cinnamon in there, and it's just as good as if you did a light and sweet. And there are many other products like that. And in the beauty field, I'm sure it's the same. I'm going to share some more information with the listening audience. You know what to do. Donna's on the air with me for another 15 minutes or so. Let somebody know that she's on there. You may get a beauty tip that can help you. And then I'm going to let you know, or she's going to let you know before the interview is over, how you can get in contact with her. Because we're going to talk about this whole thing about coaching. Sessions for clients and beauty coaching and all of that. So stay there. Don't you dare move.
Hi, my name is Stan Myers, and I'm here at FM 88.7. I do a jazz show called Just a Mood. And if you like the music, anything from Louis to Lester Bowie, I'm your man. That's Sunday afternoons, 3 to 6. Looking to hear from you, okay?
We have resumed, or we are resuming our interview with Donna Lotts. She is a beauty and wellness advocate. And as I said earlier, we are obsessed with youth. I was watching the news the other day, and I know about the buttocks injections, the breast injections, and the Botox facial thing so that you don't wrinkle. But then they threw one at me that I had not heard. And Donna, that was this whole thing of keeping your voice at a high pitch. So they have something now which is kind of Botox-like, except for it's for the, I guess, your vocal cords or what have you, that you would now keep as you age your youthful voice. So the pitch and everything that you had in your teens and 20s, you would now have in your 60s or 70s or 80s or 50s or what have you. Again, this obsession with youth. So I would be a 90-year-old sounding like a 15-year-old. Like, okay, I'm not quite sure I know the point of that, but okay. In terms, since we are so obsessed with it, because there's two pieces of this thing, and we've been emphasizing the health piece, which to me is more important than the beauty piece or the aesthetics piece. I think for me, the health portion of this is more important than the aesthetic portion of it. And when I say aesthetic, I mean, actually making yourself look good with the makeup, so forth and so on. When it talks in terms of coaching that, how do you do that?
Well, I have available coaching, one-on-ones, live demos, healthy living tidbits, recipes, a little bit of that, a little bit of everything. It's basically talking to people. It depends on what their needs are. If they need education on what's in the products, the best products to use, how to use them. I'll be getting loaded soon, I hope, onto the website, a live demo on how to apply makeup, how to do what we call an ultimate facial, which is absolutely amazing. But it depends on the person and what their needs are. I can, like I say, do anything from a demo to accessorizing with jewelry, a little bit of everything. We do fashion as well.
It's amazing what makeup can and can't do. I always get a kick when I see one of the magazines or one of the newspaper, whatever, where they show a photo of our glamorous stars with and without makeup. A lot of time they look like two different people.
Most definitely.
Like, wow, that's you without the makeup. Okay.
We all need a little bit of that airbrush.
But it's true, but it does make a difference. A young lady I work with, she came in one day with a totally different color lipstick on. It had changed her whole facial look. And she really didn't realize it. And we were all of us came and said, gee, something about you look different today. And I said, it's the lipstick. It's the lip. Whatever she has on, the different color or shading of her lips has changed her whole facial look. And so they said, wow, you noticed that? I said, yes. And they said, you can see. It took, the shade of the lipstick made her entire face look different than what it. So makeup has it. The eyeliner, the eyeshadow, the hair tone, the tints, and so forth and so on. It will change your appearance. And as I just said, in terms of, I get a kick when I walk into the pharmacy or the drugstore or wherever I am, and I see, people or Enquirer or whatever the magazines are, and they have photos side by side of with makeup and without makeup, such and such caught without makeup. And it is, they look totally different. And you heard me talk about a couple of minutes ago about this whole thing of getting injections now to change the tone or the pitch of your voice to make you sound younger. Are there any latest beauty trends that you're aware of? You want to speak on any of the latest beauty trends?
I think the most popular thing that I see right now is the cat eye, or as I call it, Cleopatra look. It's the way the eyes are done, and everyone from Hollywood stars to just, your everyday moms, I think, are wearing that. It's very sexy, it's alluring, right, and it's a bit mysterious.
Yeah, as soon as you said Cleopatra, I knew exactly what you were talking about. When you first said cat eye, I thought I knew, but when you said Cleopatra, I knew exactly what you're talking about then.
There's a lot of that, from just, just a light touch of it to I've seen some very bold lines with that as well. And I've noticed with the award shows, the plunging necklines seems to be the order of the evenings for the award shows.
Right.
And the dress within the dress. Now, I don't know if you know what that is or not, but I've seen a lot of the ladies wear it's like a shorter dress, and then it has the longer shell. I think it's all one piece.
Okay.
And, you know, big chunky necklaces, statement necklaces. So I think the Cleopatra look is the biggest thing right now.
Right. Well, I happen to like that look. I'm always fascinated with the Egyptian look anyhow. The Egyptian, that whole, you know, I got the pharaoh and the like Hesaphet and all those different folks. Matter of fact, I have one hanging in my office. So I've been fascinated by the Egyptian look and Egyptian thing anyway. So that works for me. So that's why I said, as soon as you said Cleopatra, I said, oh, I know exactly what that looks like. All right. Well, in terms of folks getting a hold of you, I always give the last few minutes of the show to the guests that they have the opportunity to promote. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying you can say the website and any contact information as much as you want. You can tell us anything about the products that you are supporting and representing. You can say anything except the dollar amount, but anything short of that, anything where you'll be, again, about your magazine, about your book, about your website, about the products, that you can do. You just cannot say a dollar amount. But the mic is yours, and this is your opportunity to promote.
Okay. Again, my website is the best way to contact me. All my information is on there, email and everything. It's Lots of Beauty with Donna.com, and that's LOTTS, Lots of Beauty with Donna.com. And you can find my ebooks on there as well. I only have one right now that's actually published, but the others I'm working on. You know, just some information about me, and I have plenty of Twitter feeds on there with healthy living articles. Some I have written, some I'm just, you know, retweeting. And I also write for Deb's magazine, as you mentioned earlier, Power Women magazine, and working on a couple of other ones right now. But everything's on my website. It's got lots of content, lots of information, lots of eye-opening articles on there as well.
All right, I'm looking at the site right now. It's the aging process, wrinkles. Mineral Foundation, give your beauty a new definition. How you can look like the superstars. And we were talking about aging a couple of minutes ago, the aging process. Celebrities from Madonna to Julia Roberts are wearing mineral makeup. Posh Nosh. Now, it's funny you mentioned Madonna. There's not one time I've seen Madonna that the next time I see her, she doesn't look like something different. I can never pick Madonna out twice because every time I see Madonna, she looks like someone different. Posh Nosh, skin types. What are the effects of environmental toxins on individuals or families? Styles come and go. Fundamentals of hairstyling. Finding your own look. Organic options. Oh, we were just talking about that. Why a spa day is better than a gym workout. I know that's right. I haven't had a spa day in a while. It's time for that massage and everything else.
Yes, it can do wonders.
Yes, it can. It really, every now and again, my wife and I, we treat each other to a massage at one of the local chain masseuse places, and when you leave out of there, it really is a totally different feeling. Protecting skin and hair by taking fatty acids. Types of beauty treatment. What should women do when dealing with excess facial hair? Ooh, I know that's a goodie. We were talking self-esteem. That's always an issue. Making sense of natural beauty products. Hyperpigmentation treatment could be associated with cancer. All these are on her site. I've read a few of her headlines. As you heard her say, she has a Twitter feed as well. It is Donna Lotts, Lotts. The Lots of Beauty is the same thing. LOTTSOF, beauty with Donna.com. Donna, thank you so much for rising early. I think we're in the same time zone. Is it about 7 o'clock your time, or are you an hour behind?
It is.
Me? Okay, so we are all on the Eastern time zone. Last week, or week before last, I think it was last week. My guest called in from Los Angeles. It was 3 o'clock in the morning his time. It was 6 o'clock our time, 3 o'clock his time. So I have guests calling from all over the country. And so I'm glad we're on the same time zone. It's early, but not as early as Los Angeles time. So I thank you for joining me. Anyone who wants to get in contact with Donna, everything is on her site. Again, I'm going to give you the website. It's Lotts, Lotts, of beautywithdonna.com. And you'll learn a lot about the products. You'll learn about the ingredients in the products, the healthy ones and the not so healthy ones. So I thank you for joining me, and have a wonderfully blessed and great and beautiful, quote unquote, day.
Thank you for having me. I do appreciate it, and thanks for being on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah, and I'll be in touch through, I think I have your email through the website. If not, certainly through Deb. I generally record the shows, and if everything went well, I will edit it and do everything I need to do. It comes up on a YouTube site that people who did not choose to rise early with us, which I hope they all did, but if they didn't, they can catch the archive on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So I'll get that out to you, and you can do whatever you'd like with it.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, again, have a fantastic day.
Thanks, you too.
All right, take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Well, that ends another edition of the Reading Circle with Marc Medley. My guest this morning was Donna Lotts, and she has an e-magazine out that can be seen on her website, as well as a beauty cookbook. And we were talking about the ingredients that are in many of the products that we use. And again, I know unless someone brings it to mind, we don't really give much thought to the ingredients that are in all these products that we buy. And they're in industries that, top of mind or just by sight, you would think this is an industry that's in business for me, for my health, to keep me alive. When truth of the matter is, these businesses could care less about us. The only thing they care about is the dollar. So the cheapest way that they can make the product to get the profit margin, they're going to do that whether it hurts you as an individual or not. So whether the byproduct is something that's cheap, just enough to get by, and is killing you, doesn't matter. And the food industry, again, those two books, if you want to read two books that will open your eyes, it's that Salt, Sugar, Fat, and I always get the ingredients out of order of the title of the book, but if you keyword it, it'll come up. Sugar, salt, fat, fat, salt, sugar, whatever. It's that book, as well as Our Daily Meds. Those two books, and I'm sure there are others out there like them, will open your eyes to those industries, and you will see that the industry in and of itself is not about you as the human being. It is about the profit margin. So if you have to die as a piece of the company or a part of the company getting a profit, then you just have to be that casualty. And for the most part, that's exactly what we're becoming, casualties, because of the various products that we're putting on us and putting in us. And we don't think about that because we're going about our busy lives. We go shopping, we throw the stuff in the shopping cart and go pay for it and use it and don't give it another thought. When you're forced to give it a thought and you have an opportunity to, as I said, read the ingredient labels and you start seeing the content of stuff that's in there and what that content is made of, then you get a better appreciation for probably why we're getting sick and dying so young in some cases, or in so many numbers, why cancer is rampant, while other diseases are rampant. Let's think about it this way. If you combine the stresses of life with what's in these various products that we're eating and putting on us, there's no wonder that our bodies are breaking down. And if you take that back to, as I said, to our forefathers and the Indians, and when you go even to like some of the Caribbean islands where they're still eating off of the land, some of these issues that we have with health, they don't have in the Caribbean islands and some of these other islands because they're still eating off of the tree. They pull it right off the tree, eat it. They pull it right out of the ground, eat it. Now, all that processing does not take place. So their level of getting sick and some of the diseases that we have here in the West or the United States or whatever you want to call it, they don't have those issues. They don't deal with because they're not dealing with the chemicals that we're dealing with. Don't believe me? Check it out. All right, we're in the M&M hour. We're going to roll over. You're listening to WP 88.7 FM, Brave New Radio. We're going to transition. We're going to move on into the good news in song, which is the gospel music. So we're going to do that momentarily. And for the next 2 hours or so, you're going to be getting the good news in song. And then Barry will be here with the Naked Brunch, giving you that old school music. And then after that, we'll all continue to be on and out. The thing about GoBrave.org is you get a variety of shows. So throughout the day, you're going to hear a whole bunch of different genres and varieties. There's something for every taste here at WP 88.7 FM.
Brave New Radio. Give us your tired, your poor, your hungry, your rockers, your punks, your freaks, your geeks, your Greeks, your party animals, your gangsters, your commuters, your residents, your students, your alums, your lawyers, your truckers, your calls, your tweets. And we'll give you rock, classic, indie, punk, alternative, easy, hard, raps, rhymes, mixes, and drops. We'll give you kick-ass music because we're WPSC 88.7 FM, Brave New Radio. Sound good?
WPSC FM 88.7, Wayne, New Jersey.
Part of the William Patterson Broadcast Network. Brave New Radio.
Straight from the WP 88.7 FM Weather Center, here's your local forecast.
73.4 degrees right now. It says it feels like 74. So let's just say 74 degrees. We're moving to a high of 86. Sunshine and clouds mixed. Partly cloudy, low of 63 this evening. And then Sunday, a mix of clouds and sun in the morning, followed by cloudy skies during the afternoon. High of 85, low of 64. Expect tomorrow night to be cloudy with showers. Monday, 80 is a high, 66 as a low, rain showers in the morning with scattered thunderstorms arrive in the afternoon. We have the potential for severe thunderstorms, and then Monday night, variably cloudy with scattered thunderstorms. For Tuesday, cloudy early, scattered thunderstorms developing later in the day, high of 86, low of 64. Expect those scattered thunderstorms during the evening as well. And for Wednesday, 85 as a high, 63 as a low, partly cloudy skies, high near, as I said, 85, 40% chance of rain Wednesday night as we drop to our low of 63. That is the weather brought to you right here from the WP 88.7 FM Weather Center. We are now in the M&M hour where we're going to put on the good news and song. Let someone know that the gospel music is coming on the air.